Next up, Michael Schneider from Service. Michael, take the stage.
So I'm Michael Schneider, the founder and CEO of Service. I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Europeans, they're having all the fun. While us Americans, we're a little bit down. And the reason's very simple. In Europe, you're entitled to cash compensation if your flight is delayed or canceled. And in the US, you aren't. And so it's not like we're not delayed or canceled a lot in the US. In fact, last year, out of 719 million in plane passengers, 129 million, almost 18%, experienced a delay or cancellation. Over 40 million of those were avoidable, reasonably within the airline's control. So that's what we do at Service. Unlike those 261 guys, we work right here in the US, and we get you compensation, usually vouchers or miles, in the event that your flight's delayed or canceled. When we're successful, it's an average of $115 worth of compensation. So what was life like before Service? Well, if you call an airline today and try to complain about your flight, they're going to say, go to our online form. If you tweet an airline today, they're going to say, go to our online form. So let's check out the online forms. Here's Alaska Airlines from 5 years ago and today. Delta Airlines from 10 years ago and today. Hawaiian Airlines from 10 years ago and today. And United Airlines from 5 years ago and today. You'll notice something very common. They really haven't changed. The logos have gotten a little prettier. The fonts have gotten a little bit nicer. We're still, as an industry, airlines are putting customers through this archaic process. It's laborious, and it takes airline employees way too long to process because they got to read all this stuff. So what's it like today with Service? Let me show you.
Traveling is hard enough without unwanted changes to your flight. Meet Service, the app that gets you paid whenever your flight is delayed or canceled. It's simple. Download the app and connect your email. We find past disruptions and get you compensation. You can have hundreds of dollars sitting in your inbox. And for future flights, we automatically file a claim whenever you're delayed or canceled. Whenever you fly, you can relax knowing our wizards got your back. Service. When things go wrong, we'll make it right.
So at Service, we've done everything possible to make it as friendly and easy on your time as possible as a passenger. In fact, once you set it up, if you want, you never have to open the app or come back to the website again. It just works. First step, you come in and you sync your inbox. On first sync, we'll check your last 12 months of travel and figure out which flights were delayed or canceled and file claims with the airlines. Because we have access to your inbox, we know when you're traveling in the future. We automatically will file a claim anytime you're delayed or canceled. Again, you don't even have to open the app or come to the website. And our business model is very simple. We don't win unless you win. We charge 30% of the value of what we get you if we get you something. Of course, there's no charge if we don't. So in the last 9 months, we've helped tens of thousands of travelers get compensation from airlines. And here are a few things we've learned. First of all, airlines are slow. These are some of the biggest airlines in the country, and you can see the last 4 months, the average amount of days it takes them to process and resolve a complaint. Best case scenario, you're at about a week, which is already fairly long. Worst case, you're at close to 2 months. Imagine how antagonized you would feel if you filed a claim and 2 months later got a response. It feels like they don't care about you. You can compare this to some other well-known consumer brands, and you can see that as an industry, the airline industry is just totally broken in this respect. Even Amazon, at their incredible scale, is at 10 minutes on average, which is pretty incredible. The other thing is airlines compete on a lot of different things, perks, fares, et cetera. But when it comes to giving out compensation for complaints, something they should be competitive on, it's all over the place. And even within the same airline, that's also all over the place. So we can do a lot better. So let me address the elephant in the room. Do the airlines hate us? Do they hate what we're doing? Well, there's a lot of reasons why they shouldn't. First of all, we take this, the essays that people often write in those archaic complaint forms, and we turn it into this. Try it again. Turn it into this, structured data. This is now incredibly easy and efficient for the airline employee to process, and they don't have to read through all of that to figure out what happened and decide if they're going to compensate or not. The other thing is we filter claims. So you have a customer, you have service, and you have an airline. Customer comes in and syncs their inbox, but before we file claims with the airlines, we filter them. When we know it's a weather delay, which we don't always, and we want to work with the airlines better on that, we'll filter it. ATC, air traffic control, we filter it, and anything below 90 minutes. We file the claim with the airline responds, and we give the customer the response along with a Net Promoter Score survey. That data right now is housed with Service. We would love to share it back to the airlines and work with them closer. So to sum it up, we can help reduce bonus and ineligible claims, reduce processing time and expense. We have a lot of valuable data we can share with the airlines. We can proactively give compensation according to the airline's own rules, and we can help airlines retain loyalty. A little bit more about us. I started the company 2.5 years ago, raised over $5 million to date. Founders Fund is our main backer, and we have over 100,000 users and adding thousands a week right now. You can find us at Service on all the major social media channels. Our website is getservice.com. And we truly love the travel industry. We want to be a good partner to everybody in this room. If you fly a lot, you should sign up. There's probably money in your inbox. On average, we find over $300 worth of compensation on first sync. If you're an airline, we want to help you retain loyalty and lower costs. OTAs, we can get your customers compensation and share it with you. And credit card issuers, we make an awesome benefit. And just for Phocuswright attendees, use this link for $20 off your first claim. Please vote for us and visit us at our booth. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Michael. Right on time. Dragons? Any delays lately?
I fly quite a bit. I think probably a lot of us fly quite a bit. But there are folks doing this with the Europe taking advantage of the compensation plans in Europe. So your take is in the US as I understand it, but there's no obligation for airlines to give anything in the US for any delay of any kind.
That's right. There's one exception, which is involuntarily denied boarding.
Correct.
But in general, you're correct.
So you're building a business model that relies off of the goodwill of the airline to continue to give things, and you're going to skim off that?
Yes.
And you think that that's durable in this manner? What?
I think so. I think one of the worst things that would happen to airlines from their perspective is we get EU 261-like legislation in this country. So I think there's a lot of benefit to them being proactive and just improving this whole situation compared to the way it is today, and we want to be part of that solution.
And by the way, if I get points from the airline and then you charge me dollars, that is a percentage of my points, we're going to have words, because those points aren't worth what they're used to, and my guess is we don't see eye to eye on their value.
We can have words. We use the point sky valuation, and we take 30% of that valuation, and it is what it is. The miles are valuable. I understand they've been devalued, but the valuation on point sky should reflect that.
So going back to your numbers, you launched in 2015. How many claims have you resolved on behalf of passengers?
The total number of claims is above 50,000 claims.
That you've resolved and you successfully got compensation?
They're not all successful.
Okay.
Yes.
So can you give us an indication of what those numbers look like?
Sure. The average success rate is anywhere between 25 to 33% of the time. The variables are your status is the biggest variable, class of service, things like that, reason for the delay.
How are you getting customers?
A few ways. PR, we have a great referral system. You get someone to sign up, you get a free claim, as well as paid user acquisition, mostly Instagram.
Yeah. Why don't you sell the airlines, a more efficient way to, to manage their most loyal customers and, and provide some kind of compensation?
Then he could have used AI. He could have used AI in his pitch if he had done that.
Exactly. Exactly.
I would absolutely love to. That's one of the reasons why I'm here.
Yeah. You think that might be the change that happens? I mean, that they'll eventually come around? Is that what you're hoping?
I think so. I mean, JetBlue is a pretty good example. They're the only airline in the U.S. that has automatic compensation for delays and cancellations, and I just think it's the future. This idea that if we make the form hard to fill out, when you're going to buy a ticket, all your information's pre-filled. When you're filling out that complaint form, you're putting your first name, your last name, your address. It's on purpose, and there is a better way.
And how are you operationalizing this? I mean, it sounds like there's just a lot of heavy people lifting that you have to do for this. Is that true?
It's software. More than 80% of what we do is automated. Okay. And just to give you put a fine point on that, in January, we were doing about 5 claims a day. It was pretty sleepy. These days, we'll do over 500 claims in one day, and I had to add 3 people to my staff. Okay. That really speaks to the power of the software that we built.
You kind of be sandwiched between the kind of been there, done that in Europe, because I live over in Europe, and you have people like AirHealth that will be on stage.
Are they IPOing anytime soon? I can't remember.
Exactly. So you have the European competitors that are already doing this, and I think have pretty good processes of how to make this happen. And then you're coming at at a niche, as Evan said, from the goodwill of the airlines, more focusing maybe around reputation management rather than just on the compensation piece. There's maybe a much bigger play here, and you're focusing on just the small piece of the compensation which they may or may not play.
Reputation management's a huge part of it, and we could help them proactively manage that in the event of a disruption.
Thank you very much.
I think I'm out of time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.